Hey, what's good guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a performance review on these bad boys right here. This is the Under Armour HOVR Havoc 2, the second version. The first version I thought was awesome. Second version, not as good, but still good in some areas.
Wah, wah, wah.
They're still bad boys. These were great. They reminded me of one of my favorite shoes of all time.
Which one?
The Kobe 6.
Ooh.
Which is a very high praise. Like if somebody were to see you play and be like, yo dude, like you remind me of like Kobe Bryant, you'd be like,
I don't know. I know a guy that you call Kobe as a nickname and he's no Kobe.
yeah, but it's because he got that fadeaway shot though. Every time he shoots it, he only fades away, so I just have to call him Kobe. Kobe's awesome, man.
He's very nice.
Can I talk about him real quick?
Go for it.
What happens is, like, I play at multiple gyms, right? But a lot of them, or pretty much all of them, you're not allowed to film in there, especially when you're at public gyms, which is like 24, there's LA Fitness, City Sport. So you're not allowed to film in there unless you get everybody's consent, including the property owner, which is like impossible. Like you gotta like actually go through a bunch of channels to be able to do that. And if you don't do that and you get caught, like if somebody sees your video, they can flag it and then you get a strike on your channel. So I'm not doing that. Some of my favorite and best runs and worst runs, I just gotta throw that in there, are at the 24 here in Sacramento. The place that you normally see in the actual reviews are usually like just like basic outdoor footage of nobody really. It's just me out there like maneuvering some stuff in the shoe, which I think are bullshit shots, but for whatever reason, we're in the day and age of if you don't see it, you don't believe it. So we gotta put those in there. The second thing is that when you see actual gameplay, that's at the Bay Area place where I run an adult class, but we don't teach anything. It's just a nice, safe place to run fives. It's super quick, fast-paced, games to 7x1, so everything's happening really quickly. At 24, I've literally sat in there for over an hour waiting to play in one game. You get placed on a team of it just didn't work. You lose, then you're waiting another 2 hours or whatever to get back on the court because there's so many people playing. That is not how that class is, and in that class we allow everybody because this game's for everybody. I know that a lot of people on the internet like to talk about this person, that person, all that stuff. That's cool, you're a pussy, that's great. But in that class, again, we allow anybody that wants to play in there as long as they're over the age of 18 because it's an adult class. And one of my favorite people in there is this little Indian dude. His name, actually I can't say his name, so I'm not even gonna say it because like I'm not great with pronouncing like certain names that I'm not fluent, like, you know what I'm saying? I just nickname certain people. He was Kobe. The reason being is because he's got this really weird shot where he kind of like shoots with two hands. I've tried to teach him to shoot regular, but I don't think he practices it on his own, which is fine. So for him, his two-handed fade shot is like what's comfortable to him and stuff. And this guy, I'm telling you, I would put him on my team anytime, any day of the week, no questions asked, because he's the guy in there with probably the least amount of skill, the least amount of basketball talent. And he'll tell you the same thing, but he works his ass off out there, man. Like that dude, you'd think that he was like Draymond Green or Klay Thompson or something, like playing defense. Like I'm just like, man, he almost broke my finger. He's the reason why that popped out of its thing. Like my pinky was pointing towards the ground because he came up from behind me. Somebody was passing me the ball. He didn't get the ball. He jammed my damn hand into the ball, and so it made my finger go like that. But I'll still pick him on my team any day of the week. He's not, again, the most skilled as far as shooting goes or anything like that, but his, what would you call it? Like just the way that he hustles.
He just gives it 100 no matter what
all
he's
the
doing.
time, all the time. And those are the kind of people that you really want to play with because you can actually like be like, hey, great effort, but that was not the way to do it. Like defense with him is the thing that I'm always on him about. He would look like he's about to give somebody a hug. You know, he's looking at you like this. I'm like, Kobe, put your hands out, bro. And so he'll do that, but then he'll go right back. Hug time, you know? And it's just like, no, this isn't Full House. It's not time to give everybody hugs and stuff. Defense, put your hands out, maybe one up, one out, whatever. If they're backing you down, arm up, you know, like arm bar and stuff, hand up. He listens, he hustles. I love the guy. And that is why I call him Kobe. It's not an insult or anything. He has just this way of shooting. Every time he'll be right under the basket. That's why I started to call him Kobe, because his range has moved. You know what I'm saying? He used to just be on the lower block. Now he can kind of go up to the free throw line, which is crazy because he's not a basketball player.
No, I know, but when you guys have to shoot for your extra players, he always gets his basket in, like.
Yeah, because he works on it.
Yeah.
His range has gone from the low block to the free throw line. He can't shoot past that. That's like his limit or whatever. He's a smaller dude. He's an older dude. He tries so damn hard, man. But when I first started playing with him, he would only shoot on the block. And I'm telling you, the block is like, you're right there at the basket. Fade away. And I was just like, why is he fading away every time? And so I just started yelling, Kobe. He even introduces himself. If somebody new is in there and they say, hey, what's up, man? Like my name is like whatever. Like, hey, I'm Chris. Be like, Kobe. And I'm just like, that's what's up, dude. Like the way to own it. So shout out to my friend Kobe. I love you, man. I'll have you on my squad any day of the week. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and that was a huge tangent, but it was a great story. If you see him in the footage, which you will, you'll know who he is. It's Kobe. I love that guy. But these guys right here, I don't think that they're as good as the original HOVR Havoc in some aspects, but there are other aspects that I think that they're just really great at. One of those aspects is the traction. This guy right here is very cool looking, and it's very aggressive looking, a lot of herringbone. This is a plus and a minus at the same time, because the original HOVR Havocs had fantastic traction from start to finish. The only downside is that the rubber was cut very thin, so if you use them primarily outdoors, while they would work great, they probably wouldn't last too long. That's the complete opposite right here. They've made all of these grooves a lot thicker, so this is going to give you a lot longer life outsole, which is great, especially for whether you're paying retail or less than, because then you're still getting value out of that. The downside though is that because all of those grooves are a lot thicker, they don't move as well, they're not as malleable, so like it took a long time for this stuff to break in indoors, to where I wasn't like, there would be some instances where I'd literally like wipe out, and it would be on like the most random, I just wasn't expecting it, hence the wiping out part. So it took a little while for these guys to break in inside. Outdoors though, they're super nice, man. Like these just grip the floor like crazy. Again, indoors, I'd say that the original HOVR Havoc is a little bit above this guy, but overall, if you're looking for the total package, which normally includes durability, this guy right here is going to suit you just fine. Now the cushion is Under Armour's HOVR cushion. The name is HOVR Havoc 2 to be precise. I do like the original HOVR Havoc cushion more. This guy right here, just honestly, it feels just like the Curry 6 to me. It doesn't feel like anything crazy. It doesn't feel like the HOVR that is in the running products. It feels like a firm cushion setup. The funny thing is that if I put on like an old shoe, like a retro shoe with even firmer cushion, then I put these on, that's when it makes the HOVR feel like, well, this is like good cushion. But if I was going from a good cushion basketball shoe to these guys, that's when you would notice this cushion is not quite on par with that shoe's cushion. And that to me is a bummer, because HOVR for Under Armour is a great source of cushion. It's just, it depends on how they're utilizing it. And in the basketball stuff, they really haven't gotten the correct balance to give you kind of like that plush, springy feel that HOVR is known for in its running line, with court feel and stability and all of that stuff in the basketball shoes. Now the materials on these guys, this is kind of like where the Kobe 6 comparison comes into play, because the materials and the fit very similar. The materials on these guys are a micro molded mesh, super lightweight stuff, very flexible, malleable, all that stuff, very form fitting to the foot. So hopefully you're able to see this right here, but again, it's just a super lightweight material. The only downside to something like this is that you could run into durability issues, and so that's why they've added, I don't know what to call them, but like this little rubber overlay or nubs and all that stuff. This part right here just reminds me a ton of the Kobe 6, the scales that were covering the mesh for protection and all that stuff. So again, that's like where the main comparison between these and the Kobe 6 is. This guy right here, I'm not going to say that it's better than the original version, but I will say that it's a ton lighter. Like you can actually feel this is a super lightweight shoe. They feel like a feather in your hand. It's crazy. I'm not trying to over exaggerate. They just are really, really lightweight shoes. Now the overall fit is interesting, because the right shoe for me feels a little bit snug, like lengthwise. Like it just, I don't know what it is, but I don't know if they're the wrong size or whatever, but the left shoe for me fits me perfectly. The right shoe, like my toe is like really hard on the edge and stuff, like really jamming in there. So sometimes it was a little bit uncomfortable. Luckily, the materials are soft enough to where it's not going to affect everything too badly. So I don't know if it was the shoe or if it was maybe my foot, because I don't know if my feet are identical. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people are a little bit like your left foot or your right foot or whatever might be a titch shorter or longer. So I don't know if that's the case, but for whatever reason, the left shoe fit me perfectly. 1-to-1 fit, great fit, very Kobe 6-ish. The right shoe, a little too Kobe 6-ish. It was a little too tight. The lockdown, however, is awesome. Like once you lace these things up, they're on you. Like you have no problems whatsoever. One complaint, which is a weird one, I hardly ever complain about this kind of thing, but this tongue, it sits right in like a great spot for mobility and everything, but it's just a little bit too short. So like when my foot is actually in there, this dips down and these top laces will kind of cut across my ankle. So I wish the tongue was just a little bit longer up top right there to really like cover the leg and all that stuff, because for whatever reason, it just, I don't know why, but when my foot is in there, it like feels like it brings the tongue down a little bit too much. So that's my only real complaint. Otherwise, I think that the fit is just awesome, especially if you're looking for a 1-to-1 fit. Like 1-to-1 fit right here, this guy right here got it. Now the support is interesting. Being such a lightweight shoe, you'd think that they lack support, but they actually don't. That 1-to-1 fit fit really aids you in that. It keeps you on the footbed or the platform, which is where most of the support features are located. So you have a fairly wide, stable base right there to start, and then the midsole itself just kind of like extends outward, very similar to the original shoe. So you do sit into it a little bit, and then it extends wide and everything, kind of like acting like a buffer or an outrigger. Something I also think is interesting is that little split right there down the middle, so you're getting a ton of flexibility for lateral movements, which is great. And then you have this propulsion plate. I didn't notice it propelling me or anything like that, but it's there for torsional support. It's there at the arch. It extends all the way to the back as well as into the front. So you've got torsional support all the way through as well as arch support. So it's only the forefoot flexing, which is what torsional support is all about. And you need that stuff primarily on shoes that are shaped like this, with this, you know, missing piece, because when you have a flat shoe that rests on the floor and then you're actually on there, all of your weight is kind of acting like the torsional or support plate in itself, because it's not letting the midsole move in certain areas or buckle down below. And when you have a shoe like this, where they kind of carve out or mold that arch area right there, that's going to collapse. So you need to brace that up, which is what the propulsion plate is all about. Now in the rear, there's not much of a heel counter. It's very small, so it's pretty much all right there. Again, you do sit inside the midsole, pretty much where that gradient line starts. That's where your foot is in. So it really cups you, it keeps you in there, and it does a great job of that, even though it does not feel like it would, because again, the whole shoe is very, very lightweight, but still pretty supportive. And that pretty much takes care of it for the Under Armour HOVR Havoc 2. I do think that it is a really good shoe. I don't think that I would pick this over the Curry 6 personally. I would rather wear that shoe. I just think that it fits my foot a lot nicer, but everything in this guy is great. The traction's great, it's durable. The hover cushioning, very comparable to the Curry 6, so no complaints there, unless you're looking for like super bouncy or plush cushion, then obviously you're going to want to look elsewhere. The materials, the overall fit, I think is great, minus the right foot thing that I don't know what it is. I don't know if my foot's too long or this shoe's too short, but whatever it is, a little bit tight on my right foot. Again, I do think that the original version is slightly better than these, but that's not knocking these whatsoever. I think that they did a great job. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. If you need any more information, click the link in our description box below. It'll head you over to WearTesters.com, where you can check out their price, their weight, and their scores. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and until next time, guys, have a good one. I swear I could do like a whole video of just like Kobe stories. I love Kobe, man. That guy's amazing.